All right, hello, good morning, good evening, and good night. I hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic because today we're going to be looking over QDTE, the Innovation 100 Zero DTE Covered Call Strategy ETF by Roundhill. So what we're going to be doing in this video is I want to take you through everything about Roundhill. Exactly what does it kind of imply synthetic covered call strategy upon? We want to also look at the index, which is the Nasdaq 100. QDTE follows the Nasdaq 100. It doesn't necessarily own it, but writes synthetic cover calls on it. I know it mentions cover call strategy here, but we're going to get into all of that and talk about that in this video. I want to go over as well all the holdings of the Nasdaq 100 and their weightings, which I do have up. And if that does sound good, we're going to continue by calculating some potential returns, kind of going in between QDTE and the Nasdaq 100 to see how each have performed over the past year and whether or not this could potentially be a good income and investment return for you. So if that does sound good, we're currently up to 7,170 subscribers, 528 subscribers in the past 28 days. Very excited to make this video for you guys. QDTE, full disclosure, is not an ETF, I should say an ETF that I own. It's currently at the purchase price of $39.67. If we look over kind of its entire inception here, it was really brought on March 4th of 2024. So it's been out for about 9 months or so. And in that time period, it has trended down about 13.33%. But before you kind of write it off, I do want to show you that it mentions it has a dividend yield of 104%. Is this totally true? No, in my opinion. We can also do a little bit of a dividend prediction in this video because I believe their dividends about 50%, and I'm going to show you exactly why. So before we get into this, a little background. So the Roundhill Innovation-100 Zero DTE Synthetic Cover Call Strategy ETF, which is QDTE. Thank you very much for listening through that. That is a mouthful. It basically writes synthetic cover calls on the Nasdaq 100. And if you don't believe me, as it mentions here, a cover call strategy ETF. It is the first to utilize 0 days to expiry, 0 DTE options on an innovation index. So the Nasdaq 100, the ticker symbol for this is NDX. Basically, it is the 100 largest companies by modified market capitalization trading on the Nasdaq exchanges. So the Nasdaq 100 index is a collection of the 100 largest, most actively traded companies listed on the Nasdaq stock exchange. For me personally, I'm actually not too fluent with the Nasdaq stock exchange, so I had to search this up. And when we look at the Nasdaq composite, the Nasdaq composite is where NDX kind of gets its companies from. The Nasdaq composite is a weighted index of more than 2,500 stocks. So out of these 2,500 stocks, NDX, which is the Nasdaq 100, holds the 100 most traded and heavily weighted stocks in that portfolio. And basically what that is, here are the 100 stocks that I'm going to show you here, just scrolling all the way down so you can see. Actually, it says 101 now, so currently 101 stocks. But the main stocks you're seeing here and the percentage of the portfolio, you have Apple at 9.2%, Nvidia, Microsoft, Amazon, Broadcom, Tesla. You notice these are a bunch of tech companies. The Nasdaq 100 is mainly comprised of a lot of tech-driven stocks. As well, moving down, Meta, Alphabet, Costco, which is a different one, but Netflix, T-Mobile, Cisco. So it's not necessarily all tech. As you can see here, we have some like PepsiCo. We have Texas Instruments. We have Intuit, QuickBooks. But there's a lot of tech companies within the Nasdaq 100. So if you're interested in something tech, I would look no further than here. And if you're interested in something in high dividend yields, QDTE, what we're talking about in this video, could potentially be for you. Now that we got out the way, they write synthetic cover calls on the Nasdaq 100. QDTE, as we know, started at a share price of about $46 or $45. I'm not sure. It's difficult to say. When I did the math, it mentioned that it started about $46, now trading at $39.88. But this ETF is known for paying some high dividend yields. So let's look at their dividend distributions. And you can see here, basically how they pay is they're going to be paying out weekly dividends. So it is another weekly dividend payer. And if we look to the past 3 dividends and beyond, we see weekly dividends of 33 cents, 18 cents, a big drop there, but 29 cents, 80 cents, 86 cents, 16 cents. So QDTE is really all over the place. For a majority of the time here, you can see they're paying out a within the 20-cent dividend range, but we scroll back to when times were good for this ETF and as well for the Nasdaq 100, which is kind of in July and August. You can see that they were paying out dividends as high as 47 cents, 50 cents pretty regularly. And you can see here they've dropped down below. So the dividends, long story short, are all over the place. But what I want to do here is I want to take the last 4 dividends, add them up, and give kind of an annual dividend yield, because I don't believe this dividend yield up here of 100% is true. I don't believe that's true at all, and I want to show you why. So let's go to the last 4 dividend yields here, or sorry, dividend payouts. So we have 33 cents. I'm going to put that in the calculator, 0.33 plus. We have 18 cents, 0.18 equals, cool. Now we'll continue on, 29 cents plus 0.29, whoops, 0.29, not 0.9, beautiful. So we're at 0.8 currently. And then we have our last dividend, which is 80 cents. Okay, cool. So now we're going to go to the calculator, plus 0.8, boom. So you can see here in the last 4 dividends, which could simulate a month, 4 weeks, is $1.60. Now what we're going to do is we're going to multiply that, or sorry, what I want to do is I want to divide that actually. I want to divide that by 4 to give us an average dividend yield for the week. So what we've done here is we've added up the last 4 dividends, which could kind of simulate a month. Then we are going to divide by 4 weeks to give us our average dividend, and that is 40 cents. So definitely on the higher side. So we take 40 cents and we're going to multiply this by 52 weeks, because 52 weeks in a year, and we get $20.80. So if you're following along, average of the last 4 dividends, because if I went to the 5th dividend or 6th, you can see there's a huge discrepancy here. So we're trying to get some dividends that are along the lines of what it's been paying out. And that gives us roughly about $20.80 per year. If we divide this by the share price of $39.88, let's see what kind of dividend we get. 39.88, boom. We get roughly a 52% dividend yield. So I don't believe this dividend of 100% really makes much sense. I believe it's more along the lines of a 50% dividend. And when we look at the track record of the Nasdaq 100 over the past year, the ETF QDTE, pardon me, it started on March 4th, 2024. So if we go here to roughly March 4th, right here, 18,207 was kind of the marker. Now it's at 21,000. That's roughly an increase of about 22 to 23%. So I'm going to kind of maintain that. We'll maintain this 26% marker because it's going to be an even greater gain than what we're looking at. But when we look at QDTE, we've lost 13.33%. Over the last year, we can roughly expect about 0.52, which is 52% from QDTE in terms of payouts. So what I want to do is I want to subtract this 13%, so 0.1333, boom. So our total return over the past year, although I have not held XDTE, I estimate it to be about a 39% return. When we're comparing that to the Nasdaq 100 with its ups and downs, you see here, it was only 26% over the last year. So I do believe this is an extremely rough calculation just to kind of put it out there, but I do believe that QDTE does perform very well when compared to the Nasdaq 100, the underlying index that it's trying to track. So this is one I'm definitely interested in and potentially looking to add to my portfolio as it pays weekly. It's something different other than just Yieldmax, for example. And of course, I'm always looking for something different to diversify my income and provide me great income sources. And I do believe QDTE potentially does that. Of course, not financial advice. This is solely my opinion, but I wanted to show you the facts of what it holds underneath, what it's potentially looking to replicate, and how much income it produces over kind of the past year and its dividend yield. So if you guys did enjoy this video, we're currently up to 7,170 subscribers. Stick around for more videos like this. I hope this was in your wheelhouse and you found it interesting and informative. Please do take care, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.